Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Here is your tarot reading. Not for the week ahead as we usually do, but as we're coming to the end of the year, I thought it'd be really interesting and insightful to do a 2025 forecast reading for Taurus. Lots and lots of ironies here, which made me chuckle because we start with the Knight of Pentacles, which I always see as a very Taurian energy. I know officially the King of Pentacles is the sign of Taurus in many ways, but because of the Knight of Pentacles stoic, very stable, very reliable energy, it seems to indicate Taurian energy very, very well. So you'll be pleased to hear that in terms of finances, in terms of home, in terms of many aspects of your life, it's likely to feel very stable. There is a caveat. Of course, there is. It's the tarot, it's life, it's the year ahead, but ultimately feeling in a very, very good setting. You have that in tandem with the Six of Wands, the Lord of Victory. As you see, there are two horses, very, very, very similar stances, very similar energies. Likely to be lots of accomplishments, achievements as we go throughout the year. Always interesting with the Six of Wands because you're not sure whether the protagonist is coming in from being away at battle or leaving to go on the next adventure. These kind of transitionary periods, again, likely to show themselves. But lots to be thankful for, lots of those seeds that you've been planting maybe in 2024 and earlier showing fruition. Great time for leadership throughout the year. Likely to be many, many successes within work, particularly as we have the Knight of Pentacles again. I often see the Knight of Pentacles as the mortgage card, not very sexy, not necessarily very exciting, but necessary. So not a bad time to be looking at your long-term investments. Doesn't have to be finances. It could be investment of energy, resource. Where are you placing your resources for your long-term gains? And because of that showing of the Six of Wands, many of those resources, those placements of those resources being successful. So very, very good time to not necessarily take risk. In many ways, stick to what you know, because again, that's why I said right at the beginning, there's a certain irony with this reading. You're likely to be glad to hear that thing of stick with what you know and it will go well. The interesting thing, moreover, why I mentioned that there are some certain ironies here, is you have the Tower. The Tower card is often about sudden bolts of the blue, about breaking the status quo, about sudden changes. And this is obviously in great contrast with the Six of Pentacles. In many ways, this year you'll get what you wish for and hope for, and many of that being about stability, security, and abundance. In some ways, there may be a few dark surprises in here too. That isn't necessarily a bad thing, as we know. And I'll speak about on that a little bit more in a moment. However, with the Knight of Pentacles, the struggle or the danger of the Knight of Pentacles can sometimes be that he or she or they are a bit stuck in the mud. They're refusing to move. They're refusing to branch out into new areas. A way to describe this is you see the agricultural land in the background of the Knight of Pentacles. Again, that's representative. This is the Shire horse. It's the workhorse. It is which is dependable and will go out. Fairfax is agreeing, if you can hear him in the background. They will go out and do what is necessary to make things happen. There are times where the farmers need to furrow the land. They need to take that tilling machine and turn over the earth so fresh oxygen can come in. And this is the process between the Knight of Pentacles and the Tower. The Tower is the tilling machine. It is the thing that breaks up the status quo. Therefore, whatever sudden surprises, whatever shifts and changes, again, you'll probably hate this as the Taurian sign, is embrace change. Embrace change. It doesn't feel like it's change after change after change after change. It's likely to be one significant moment within your life. I would, if I had to hazard a guess, kind of the midway point of the year, just because the Tower card is coming in the middle. Um, that's a bit of an educated guess. Look upon these drastic changes or these drastic shifts as a bit of a godsend. All things are godsends, in my opinion. But it's helping you break out of the mold. It's helping you ensure that you don't become too comfortable, that things don't become stale and stiff. So although it might kind of come quite quickly, quite fast, it is ensuring that you don't get too stuck in the mud. What was also partly ironic and very, very beautiful about your spread. So normally I just pull the tarot, but as we're doing these slightly more in-depth readings, I thought, okay, let me pull an oracle card as well. And I've been using the Daily Crystal Inspiration, hopefully you can see it there, by Heather Askanose. And the card that we had for you was Angelite, and your message is support is all around you. Support is all around you. You may just be able to see it there. Which blends so perfectly, I couldn't even make it up, with the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups, I believe this is the third time that this card's shown up, and I'm on reading number 4. So it's showing up a lot for people the year ahead. So I think it was in Aries for sure, and maybe Sagittarius, something like that. But Three of Cups, the Lord of Abundance, for me, it often represents sisterhood, brotherhood, and everything in between. Families, friends, congregations, those that we can rely on for support. These two things come in tandem, they come in pair. So whatever difficulties you may face, whatever sudden shocks, sudden bolts out of the blue that you may face, don't try and go it alone. Again, there's a real crossover between these messages and Aries. It's really worth checking out Aries video for a bit more. I go in quite a lot of in-depth there. So if you're in part Sun, Moon and Rising is within Aries and Taurus, these themes are really, really going to show through. The need to call upon other people. As we know, a problem shared is a problem halved. We can feel quite isolated and quite alone when we're going through difficult times and challenges. Don't allow yourself to fall down that trap, so to speak. Yes, okay, we might need time to lick our own wounds, to restore, to recompose, to kind of find an equal footing again. But only allow moments of that. If you're finding yourself cutting yourself off from other people or the outside world, stop, stop, stop. Bring yourself into companionship. It doesn't, you don't have to put on a big face, big smiley face whatsoever. But just chat it through. Really, really ensure that you're chatting it through, getting advice, getting support, getting input from those that are around you. Often we can feel like we're burdening other people, and there is a difference between complaining and needing a sympathy or needing advice. So just look at your intention around that. There's that wonderful quote by Naomi Campbell, of all people, and she said, if you need to speak to more than 3 people about the same problem, it's not advice you need, it is attention. So there's always a bit of a fine balance between this, but often the most generous thing we can do is allow other people to be generous. speaking personally, when somebody comes to me because they need support, they need my advice, they just want my kind of lending ear, that's a real privilege, right? That's a real mark of a true friendship. So look at it in that way if you're not somebody that naturally finds speaking about your issues, sharing them with other people, an easy thing to do. It's really, really key that you don't try and battle these all on your by yourself. The other thing that I wanted to say, coming back to the Knight of Pentacles, it really feels, and this is perhaps a strange way of describing it, but it feels like a real dip. It feels like you enter the year at this point and leave it this year, but there's this kind of dip in between. Now, that dip isn't necessarily a bad thing by any means. Again, the dip being represented by the tower. But you're likely, because we have the Six of Pentacles, which is all about restoring balance and harmony. Very interesting. It's, are we the person giving out the money or are we on the receiving end? But whatever disruptions or whatever throws these things off balance, out of kilter for you this year, there's almost a promise here that that will return. So often we can see the spiritual advancement of people and the wisdom and experience of people when we witness how they deal with trial and adversity. Do they fall into a place of victimhood? Woe is me. Why is this happening? Blah, blah, blah. Or do they go, okay, right, what do I need to learn from this? How do I overcome this? What is this trying to teach me? How is this stretching me? What am I learning from these experiences? So it's much more useful and helpful to come to it in that attitude. Keep faith that you will find once more that place of balance. Also have faith that whatever is throwing you off balance is for your own good. Again, some of this might sound slightly unnerving, slightly challenging. I am not worried. I kind of go, yes, great, good. This will keep you on your toes. It will bring new energy in. It will bring new life in. It's so much about ensuring that you don't rest on your laurels, quite literally, as we've got the laurel crowns in the Six of Wands. Very often those times where I think, I've got this in the bag, I can do this with my eyes closed, the universe clips me around the ear and says, really? You really think you can just do it on cruise control? And they're the points that I learn and sharpen. So with that's great. So it's about not resting on your laurels, not assuming that you've got this in the bag, but ultimately just ensuring that you don't just things become monotonous and repetitive and kind of in some ways dull. So I really feel that you'll earn your stripes this year, Taurus, and you'll earn your stripes through things being stable, solid, tangible, in your grasp, something throwing that into question, and the journey for you about restoring that balance. And when you restore that balance, then you'll feel a greater sense of accomplishment and achievements than ever before. Like, I'm really proud of myself that I did persevere, that I did stay level, that I did stay steady and reassured, and okay, I can weather this storm. That's the sign of a truly experienced, wise, and mature person. And don't forget that whilst you go through those trials and tribulations, chat with people, ask for support, ask for help, ask for those that are around you to chip in, because that resource is there. It will make it much more pleasant, much more easy. And also just you may learn new things, you may learn new experiences. In fact, it may very well bring you closer to those that you ask for that support and guidance and help from. So that is my reading for you and your year ahead. I hope that has inspired and reassured. Be sure to go and look at your rising sign, your moon sign, or your sun sign if you haven't done already. That will help you get a much broader sense of what the year ahead may bring. But until next week, have an amazing, amazing end of the year, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye for now.